Question for Ross. We'll start with Ben, 4 rows back on your left.
Hi, Ben.
Wondering what went into the roster decisions as far as getting, I'll repeat that. Wondering what went into the roster decisions as far as getting Bo Bichette on, first off, and then putting Ty France on with Loperfido and Uriel coming off.
Yeah, I mean, the Bo one, relatively straightforward just based on talent and health, and felt like he was in a good enough position to help our team and make us better. Ty's been working tirelessly since his injury. He's gotten back to an incredible position physically, has looked really good in all of his live at-bats, and is a good matchup against this team. And that, contributed to the decision to keep the extra pitcher off.
And how's George doing physically right now?
Great. He's battled through a lot all year, and I think he could articulate better, but we feel like he's in a strong enough position to continue to be an incredible contributor.
Other questions for Ross? We'll go to the second row on your right.
Thought we were going to wrap it up after one.
That's all we needed, Ross. Hey, Ross. Obviously, MLSE moved the start times of the Leafs and Raptors games this weekend and on to as well as Monday and Tuesday's games. Were there conversations with MLSE, or is that just like a nice surprise for you?
Not with me. I'm sure there were with Mark Shapiro and Marnie Starkman and others. That I didn't have those.
Also, since you became GM of the Blue Jays, you've often spoken about the importance of bringing in personnel who are high character, good values kind of folks. This year's Blue Jays, a lot has been made about their resilience and their togetherness. Do you see that as a payoff of that policy of putting an emphasis on high character people?
I've always been taught and learned and believed strongly that hiring and identification of whether it be players, coaches, scouts, anyone that's helping support the organization, that hiring is the most important thing we do. And if you do that with values that are important to you, then over time that's going to pay off for you.
Third row on your left, Ross. Jordan.
Ross, John Schneider's talked about the last year with Max Scherzer and kind of the ups and downs of that and the payoff in the last round. What has your perspective been watching Max be a part of this team from when you first signed him to having that moment in the last round?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I could describe it better than what happened on the field. Seeing that competitive nature come out the way it did, I can't describe it better than what we saw on TV. But it has been incredible to be around him under the hood in our clubhouse and to see how he prepares, how he helps others prepare, how he processes information and as it relates to getting ready for winning a baseball game. And then just how important that is to him at this level in his career and how real that is has a massive impact on our environment.
Fourth row on your left, Shai.
Hey, Ross. Can you describe some of the conversations that you guys had, factors you considered in deciding to use Bo at second base, coming back from this, challenges he faces in that transition, what got you guys to the comfort level to make that choice?
Yeah, I mean, it was more about what we were seeing and then talking about upside, downside. And then I think the most important interactions were those with Bo and just how he was responding and feeling, his confidence level in hitting that top gear and what that could mean once adrenaline factors in. And, ultimately our confidence in his hands, his athleticism, his instincts, that was the easy part.
And just from a bigger picture offensively, the past couple of off seasons, we've had conversations about how you guys were going to look at different elements of the offense. You guys have also obviously put an emphasis on contact. What are some of the factors in taking some of the contact that you guys have had and this year turning that into contact with damage that's led to a productive offense?
Yeah, it's interesting. The most damage that we added in the offseason wasn't as integral into our season, was a piece of the equation in the playoffs and Anthony Santander. But, we always have believed in this group. We have said that a long time, and the players that are here, and Alejandro Kirk, and obviously Vladdy, and obviously George, and they've continued to get better. They've continued to make adjustments with the league, and we've always felt that contact would turn into more damage, and this year it did.
Standing in the back left, Mitch.
Hey Ross, you haven't been shown like in games on TV that much in your time here, but they've cut to you in the front office a couple times during this run, after the DS, after the CS, showing you celebrating. What has this run and kind of those moments been like for you?
It's obviously very powerful, and John Schneider and I were just talking about it. I think the thing that I think about the most is the relationships, the people that we have hired and the people that we have grown with together. And I've always felt there's a big group of people here that I'm working with that will for sure be lifelong relationships and lifelong friendships. And this success, albeit not done with work to do, not just this year, but well beyond, I think just emboldens that feeling of how powerful these relationships will be.
Gabe in the fourth row, closer to the middle.
Oh, hey, Ross. What was it like from your perspective watching Trey's climb up the system this year, and at what point did you kind of feel like he was a realistic shot at being a part of all this?
Pretty early. I would say probably in that transition from Vancouver to New Hampshire, that A-ball, AA transition, as you could see, he was moving pretty quickly. And we could, the strikeout rate is just undeniable. The weapons and the unique nature of them was undeniable, and he just made the decision for us.
Standing in the back left, Tyler.
Ross, a couple of your deals brought in everyday guys who were known for defense, Andres Jimenez and Dalton Varsho, and you took on a lot of money with Jimenez and you gave up a lot of talent for Varsho. What was the driving force behind defensive-oriented players and those deals?
We talk about both sides of the ball all the time. We also felt that those guys are good offensive players, really good base runners. So the complete nature of those players, what was so attractive. Yes, his defense exceptionally important to us. Absolutely. But for us, it's always about the complete player, and maybe we have hedged a little bit more into or just placing more value in defense subconsciously. But for us, it's always been about the whole player and what that means and how it impacts our ability to win.
Standing on the left, Mike.
Hey, Ross, you mentioned Schneider, and he was part of the deal when you guys got here, but you obviously saw something in him to progress him up through the ranks. Is it significant to have a Blue Jays lifer like that in the seat that he's in?
Yeah, beyond the obvious reasons of the relationships and what it means to him to be a Blue Jay, that has an impact. Impact for others coming into the organization that sense and feel that. But I also think it's exceptionally powerful for all of those coming behind him. Really important to us that people that we are developing from within, we have to be open to hiring from other organizations and other fields as well. But that is very powerful to us, and we feel it's powerful to others in the organization.
And just to follow up on Shai's question about Bo, what was the equation that made it more palatable for you guys to use Bo at second over putting Springer in the outfield?
Well, that's one game, so we'll see how the other 6 unfold, or however many we play.
Go to Rob on the left, Ross.
Hey, Ross, it's taken you some time to have the type of sustained playoff run that you had hoped for and always expected, with some near misses and some disappointments along the way. How gratifying is it for you personally and for your staff to get to this point?
I mean, the things I talked about, the relationships, and I've had this conversation with our players that this group has won a ton together. So over the last 5 years, they've won more than anyone in the AL East other than the Yankees, and it's very close, very high up in the American League, and how much this group has won over the last 5 years. We have had some crash landings that have been very difficult for us all, the fans, us and the organizations, to stomach. But I'm exceptionally happy for our players and our staff to be sitting where we are today.
Standing in the back left, Jamie.
Where you're concerned personally, Ross, as you walk the streets of this city, are you finding people a little more friendly than in past years?
It's always been great. I've never had anything but positive interactions. I mean, I've had a couple of entertaining interactions that maybe they were throwing some jabs, but I've never had anything but just respect. I think people love the Blue Jays so much, and I feel that, and sometimes I feel maybe that they're wanting a little bit more, but it's always been very respectful.
Second row on your right, Ross.
Hey, Ross. Just another question about Trey. A lot has been made about his confidence and poise on the mound. I'm just curious, back to when you guys were looking at him in the draft, what kind of reports were you getting from scouts about his makeup, and how much did that play a factor into where you decided to take him?
Yeah, it's interesting. You never take a player where that's a concern. Guys that are being taken in the first round usually are dominating, usually are performing at such high levels that the makeup reports are always pretty good. It's going to be, this guy's a bulldog, he's a warrior, he works his tail off and never backs down from a challenge. But then the game gets faster and the talent gets higher and the stages are bigger, and that exposes some things. So if we had the magic formula to tell you that Trey Savage was going to be able to handle this when we acquired him, we probably would have had a lot more success prior to today. There's just, you never know. And it's the hardest thing to evaluate, in my opinion. So you evaluate process and work, preparation, how they deal with failure, but handling an environment like he's handled the way he has, I don't think anyone can determine.
Do a couple last quick ones, Shai.
Ross, understanding you may not want to necessarily praise a team you're going to go up against in the World Series, but what are some of the things that the Dodgers do organizationally that you look at and think that that's driving their success? I'm interested in learning how they got about to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a open-minded nature. Andrew has also kept a lot of staff members around. There is a commitment to his people, and obviously starts with their ownership, and they have continued to build upon really good resources, and those are all things I would say the Blue Jays are trying to do as well. I do think that continuity is exceptionally powerful for organizations like Cleveland, like Milwaukee, like Tampa. Even when a leader is lost, they're usually building from within, so that you can build upon the good decision-making tools that you have. You can build upon the values that you have, and it's the big changes where it gets hard to repeat success.
We'll finish up with Ron.
The contact hitting that you have, the lack of strikeouts, how conscious of a decision was it to go after players who make contact, and how much was a philosophy put in place of in the day-to-day training of them?
Yeah, very. Yeah, it was it's something we felt played in the playoffs against really good pitching.
What was the impetus, and when did you as an organization make a decision to concentrate on that?
Discussion turns into research, and research turns into decisions.
So, how many years ago was it?
4, probably 5, yeah.
I know Ross has to be somewhere, but we'll finish up right here.
You extended Alejandro Kirk to a 5-year deal this season. How important has he become to this organization?
I mean, I can't say enough about Alejandro, and to say how important, it's incredible. Very, very important. The way that he is handling our pitching staff, that position, controlling the running game calling, the not just receiving but keeping the ball in front of him, the decision making, and then to be hitting 4th or 5th in our lineup and very effectively. I mean, that is a massive impact on our ability to win.
Ross, thanks so much. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate
it.
Thank you. Bichette will be in here at 4 o'clock.
see you. Yeah. Pretty good. Yourself? Okay. There's good right. Right. Yeah, similar. I got in yesterday morning and then was here when it was sort of, I was trying to land the plane on and just crank it out. I just, I'm out in the first off spots. The view's not bad. I came down with 3 stuff, but yeah. Well, I mean, this is what I'm saying is that most of the time I was out there just working. So yeah, I was down for some of the players very briefly, grabbed a couple of things that I needed, but I wasn't down for either manager. I was briefly at both player availabilities. Yeah, it was stuff about flagging for some stuff and a couple of other guys. But it was like, right. Oh, yeah. Not like the airport. There's a courtyard right next to it. So I rented a car because actually I flew in and out of Buffalo, and that's I'm actually taking going from LA, going out to LA from Buffalo, so I'm driving back after tomorrow's game. So what I did is I drove to the end of the Metro line, what was there next to the train. Well, and that's when I came to the station as well, so mine was yeah, yours, yeah, although it was like so close to me, and so yeah, for 3 and 4, and then I'm probably back after 4. Yeah, yeah, mine's dirt cheap too. It's just just sort of going the other way. Late morning on Sunday. Yeah. That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because I'll have a car there too. So. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm gonna have to, every week we're having to get this getting through, after we leave the ballpark, pretty much there anyway, so. I'm flying from Buffalo, early, like 8, something like that. Very briefly at Midway. Yeah, when I was 14, I was having trouble finding where I said well, yeah, that was part of the calculus and stuff going on that super cheap. I'm not Now, if you remember, in 07, and you and I had to give 07, and that was still the whole box behind the blade. Right. We went to a couple of games, yeah, and then I stayed here at the hotel and learned firsthand overrated the moves are. Yeah, because they're like, they do the power wash. Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was more like 2015.
Yeah, I can't remember whatever actual business getting got done at that meeting, but that's the one that I remember where it was in August and the Tigers just drafted Chelsea and signed a contract and it was just talking about some big grants about signing bonuses. Yeah, I called him up just to chat. Pretty much, yeah. I don't want to hear it. It's got to be, I forget.
All right, we will get started with Bo. If you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll start with Lindsay in the second row, right up front.
Hey, Bo. I think a lot of people are excited to see you, that you're in the lineup, but the last time you played, as you know, was a regular season in September. What are your emotions that the first game in several weeks is Game 1 of the World Series?
Yeah, it's crazy, but I'm looking forward to the challenge, and at the end of the day, I've been working my whole life for this, so yeah, I'm just excited for it.
5 rows back on your left, Ben.
Hey, Bo, I'm sure you're excited to take the field with all your teammates, but Vladdy in particular, you've played with for so long. What will it mean for you to take the field alongside him tonight?
Yeah, it'll be special. It'll kind of be like the old days, just on the other side of the field, playing next to him and being next to him. But yeah, just so excited, and obviously what he's done this postseason so far is so special, and I'm just really thrilled to be a part of it.
Fourth row on your right, Bo.
Hey, Bo. To be on the other side of the field, right, a place you haven't played in 7 years, what goes into the change for you to be on the other side of the bag and to be able to handle that, especially in the World Series?
Yeah, I mean, I think every part of this is a challenge, but I think it would be, even if I had been playing, the World Series is a different animal, so luckily I've had a lot of time in my life at second base, so I have some experience there, and I mean, I feel ready to contribute there.
And just as far as where you are hitting-wise, you can only do so much, right, even when sim games and high velocity and all of that stuff. To be able to stand in there now against some of the best pitchers in the world, how are you feeling? How's your swing feeling?
I've been able to get a lot of good work in, but, I mean, honestly, I'm leaning on a whole life's work of swings and at-bats that, have all been dedicated to being ready for this moment. So I feel ready and ready to get there. I'm super excited.
Stay in the same row with David.
Hey, Bo, as you try to adjust to the nuance of second base at the major league level, have you leaned on anyone in particular?
Well, luckily our team is full of a bunch of great defenders and guys who have played second base at a high level. So definitely I may have talked to Ernie, Isaiah, obviously Andres. But yeah, I've definitely sought out everybody's opinion on everything, and just trying to be ready for any potential situation that maybe I'm not typically used to handling.
Fifth row in the left center, Jamie.
Bo, do you mind giving us some insight as to how the conversation went with respect to this new position? Was it as simple as, hey, you want to play second?
To be honest, I brought it up. It was something that I felt like I could get ready for quicker than another position, and I just want to be ready to help the team in any way that is afforded to me. So that felt like an opportunity for me, and obviously they were on board with it.
One row ahead, Bo. Gabe.
Hey, Bo. To what extent are you feeling relief from the standpoint that you're good enough to go and that you're not going to miss this entire run that these guys have gone on?
Yeah, this has been obviously on my mind the entire run. Just trying to get as healthy as I could be and as ready as I could be for this. I mean, I thought at one point it might be the ALCS, but once that wasn't, the opportunity that I had, I turned my attention to hopefully have an opportunity to be here for this. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if relief is the word, but I'm definitely super blessed and grateful to have this opportunity, definitely.
First row on your left, Bo. Ron.
How limited is the agility of the knee right now as it comes back, and how did that factor into the decision moving to second?
I think if anybody had doubts that I could do my job there, I wouldn't be playing there. So I feel good about where I'm at.
But is it a full level where, if needed, you could play shortstop?
Well, I haven't taken ground balls there yet, but I'm sure that over the course of the series, that's something that we would see about.
Go to Jordan in the third row on your left.
Bo, how have you balanced during this postseason run the desire to get back versus the experience of watching your teammates go through this? Have you been able to enjoy watching, or have you been just so focused on the work behind the scenes to get back?
I think it was a challenging experience for me, for sure. But as much as I prioritize getting healthy, I also prioritize staying with the group, taking time to hang out with the guys in the clubhouse, and then making sure that my work was done before before the game started. And so I was able to be as locked in as possible in the dugout and, try and watch the game and stay involved that way. So, yeah, it was definitely a challenging experience, but I think I handled it to the best of my ability.
Last row in the middle, Jamie.
I apologize if this was addressed yesterday, but do you recall, as a younger man, your introduction to the World Series, either in person or on television?
Yeah, it was asked yesterday, but I would say the first World Series I remember was probably 2004. So, I mean, the first series I probably remember is the Red Sox-Yankees series. But the first World Series was that Cardinals-Red Sox.
Go to Barry in the third row.
Hey, man, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. So if you put a gauge on it, are you close to 100%? Are you, what is your 100% of 70%? Where are you?
I don't know about a percentage, but I know I'm good enough to play. So, and I feel good enough to produce. And so, I mean, that's all that matters to me.
I assume your mother and father are going to be here too?
They will be, yeah.
Standing in the back left. Oh, Jake.
When you think back to New Hampshire, 2018, you and Vlad and Schneider, what are the feelings that go through your head?
A long road. It was, it's something that we all talked about, getting to this point, having an opportunity to win a World Series from the moment we met each other. So, we've had our ups and downs, and we've had high points and low points, and to get to this point and have the opportunity to, chase a dream is special, and it makes it more special to do with them.
And then what has changed about Schneider over the years?
Well, I think he's always had a gift of being a manager. I think, he creates good relationship with the players. I think the thing that he has taken the biggest step forward in this year is really trusting everybody on the roster. I think it's easy to trust Vladdy, obviously, but every single person who stepped in the clubhouse this year, I feel he's given an opportunity to, and not only trusted to produce, but expected to produce. And, I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons we're here.
Third row on your left, Bo.
Hey, bro. How will any of this influence your thinking as a free agent?
I've been here my entire career. Worked really hard to build a winning culture. Not alone, of course, with some people that are really close to me. So, I've said it before. My goal is to stay here for my entire career. But right now, I don't have time to think about that. It's I got to go out there and do everything I can to help the team win.
One row ahead.
Bo, you were introduced pregame in the other series to start the series, but you're going to be able to run out on the field with your teammates. How are you going to take that all in tonight?
Yeah, I'll do my best to enjoy it. I'm not going to lie, I've thought about it. Seeing how excited the fan base is and the love they have for everybody. I've definitely thought about that. So it'll be a special moment.
Fourth row on your right, Bo. Mike.
Hey, Bo, several of your teammates over the course of the last couple months have said that it was your home run in Texas that turned the season around. That pinch hit, 2-run shot in the ninth inning. Do you look back on that? Did you feel at the time like it was as big as it was going to be? And in retrospect now, do you see that as well?
Yeah, I don't know. If they say that it had a big part in it, then, maybe it did. I think there's so many different scenarios that you could look to throughout the season, big moments, big hits, that had a huge part in us maybe getting out of a rut or continuing a hot streak or whatever it is. So I think for me personally it was a big moment, but I'm not sure if that's a pinpoint you could point to on our season turning around.
And after Game 7, I was talking to Kevin Gausman, and he said of all the Blue Jays teams that he's been on, which is only a couple more than you, this is the one that he thinks he sort of expected the least from starting the season, and he's surprised that this is the one that got to the World Series. How do you think about that, about this team relative to like the 21-2-3 teams that you were on?
I've played on some incredibly talented teams, and this is no different. This is a very talented team with a lot of great players. I would say the difference is we're just a team in every sense of the word, the way we play the game, the way we love on each other, want the best for each other, play for each other. So, I mean, I think that's the biggest difference, and probably being around this group has been the biggest lesson for me in my career, and looking around and understanding that this is what a team is, and this is what, you know, we should be striving to create every single season.
Couple last ones, second row on your right.
Hey, Bo, you guys have faced a lot of top-end starters this year and fared pretty well at times, including in the playoffs. What do you think it is about this offense that allows you guys to have success against some of the top starters in baseball?
I think the compete level, never giving in, competing with 2 strikes is huge. I think we do that obviously very well. And like I said, we have a ton of talent, a lot of guys that have done some really cool things in this game. And we'll definitely lean on those guys this series. But yeah, I think just the ability to compete, never give in, I think that does wonders for any team.
Last row on your left, Bo, Shy.
Hey, Bo. Every team in baseball talks about trying to create the type of team dynamic that you guys have spoken about all season long. As you think back at just some of the ways you managed to create that bond, is there anything you can pull from that to try and do this again next year? Like, are lessons that you can draw, like this is how you put it together to create what you guys have had this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a ton of guys in that locker room that have the resume to have egos, want to be the hero, all of that kind of stuff. And I think, yeah, I mean, I think as long as your best players are down to do whatever it takes to win, and there's no ego behind that, I don't see any reason that can't be created again.
1 or 2 last ones for Bo. All right, Bo, congratulations on making the World Series. Great to see you.
All right, guys, thank you.
Our next item in here will be John Schneider at 4:45.
Still haven't read.
Toronto by the Gulf State. Very good. Well, not the ones yet, because I think that Eagles are secure all of
Thanks a lot. That was a crazy situation, man. We just got lucky that we kind of like skewed it in the back curtain because the Prime Minister had everything shut off, and we were like in a no-go zone. We came to Max, and he was like, well, you can come in this curtain, but I'm doing you a massive favor right now, and I had no idea. And I'm like, why is this a massive favor? And I'm like, oh, this is where everyone's going to be in like 5 minutes. So we just walked right up to the show the thing and got the elbows up and waited for it to all happen. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. I gotta thank that security person. Yeah. Schneider's coming in here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just like in like 35 minutes.
Right.
So.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, so yeah, they made me scan it. They said like 3:45. Yeah, we did some like. We have all the time. We have a 440.
Are we walking? No, I have yourself. Okay.
It's. Can I come in near this thermostat? I think I can. Thermostat goes as low as 70. Cheap ass Rogers.
Friedman and Vlad are the only ones with Canadian passports in this room. You know what the Canadian?
Yes. No, nobody would.
In a bullpen somewhere.
Yeah.
No Matt Brashes in this.
No Matt Brashes. But yeah, that's
Keegan, I got a kick out of it. What did you refer to us as the Julia the day, the bear callers or something?
yeah. She needs to be raised. Needs to be hardened. I haven't seen her yet today. Oh dear.
Oh, okay. Sorry, man. Lean back. I was just there. I could have just.
You want the right one? You're not going that way. I can get it done already, but now.
Okay.
And then I'll head straight to the meeting.
Okay. Do you want me to just send you a text when he's done and we're on the come over here? Okay. Yeah. Totally.
Just like now. Yeah, I'll do
It was
it.
a long time to just sit here and.
I don't know if inventory of my life.
Yeah. Well, I went up and saw where you're sitting, and they're like, Keith's down there right by that microphone.
Yeah.
What is that? They have a microphone?
They do something else.
Oh, that's them that does that. That's the attention media, the so-and-so.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right. Yeah, I think they are too. Got a very short leash up there right now. Very short.
Subtle.
All right, I'll send you a text.
Cool.
Over.
All right.
Yeah.
That works good. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
too early, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was going to grab.
Yes, no, it works.
Actually, it would be fun to hunt down Dante and Marina Bichette. I remember sitting with them and either Bo or his brother was playing for the Brazilian national team in WBC in Brooklyn. When they had the
one of the qualifiers.
One of the qualifiers, yeah. And I sat in the stands with them for a couple of innings to write a column.
Shit happens.
And it is real beat in my time. Shit happens. Yeah, she was very nice. She's Brazilian. She's a softball.
Okay. So he comes by all of this very honestly. Then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, between mother and father, yeah.
Going.
So it's on the same level?
That's one level. I think there's another level below, too.
Because apparently there's an upstairs football box, too.
Yeah.
But aren't they using that?
Yeah, I'm sure they're using all of it, yeah.
You qualify for even that?
No, I'm out.
I know, but what I'm saying, there's a football box above where we are. There's a second floor.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, I think...
you didn't qualify for that either?
I think that's actually the third level, because there's... Yeah, there's a lot of people out where I'm at.
Is it the same kind of box, or is it a makeshift box out there?
Sort of in between.
I kind of like to, and then don't put me in these fucking little boxes, I'm not coming back. So, even at Dodger Stadium the last time, for the NLCS, getting a working position for me in the dining room.
Okay, that's a different story. Like, I usually don't really care, and I don't get worked up about that sort of thing for the most part, but being in the dining room is a different kind of ballgame.
And then, but rather than being out in right field, left field there, which is like in the upper deck, which is ridiculous. I'm not going out there.
Well, see, that one, that shift disappointed me because, like, with the Dodger Stadium,
right.
Because the main one is so tiny, and as you know, the dining area is just total chaos. Being at the one right above it,
it was great.
I had no problem with that.
I don't know how many World Series
a ton of them,
there.
yeah. But like being out by that shift, I wish we had not done that.
So there was, rather than, so on the NLCS, he had a seat assigned for BBWA, but he put me in the dining room. So I go, well, fuck this, I'm just taking the BBWA seat. So, which I did. I'm BBWA.
What's there for?
Why are you assigning that, but not assigning me there? So he comes by after the first game, he taps me on the shoulder, he goes, whose seat are you taking? So I go, it's a BBWA seat, I'm just taking it. I go, you have any problem with that? No, you're great, fine. He says, I told him, you're not going to go out to the remote box. So, and I said, fuck, I'm 74 years old, I'm not going out to these boxes. My BBWA number is 30. It should have some sort of seniority.
Right. No, and the NFL does a very good job with this, where like the Jerry Eisenbergs of the world, like they always get prime position because like you're there for 70 years, you earned it.
Exactly. Well, there's no football right. The Football Writers Association.
True, but a lot of you know, the NFL, my point is the NFL does a good job taking care of those people without having to be prodded.
I like the WNBA finals. So
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you were there for that one?
yeah, yeah. I missed the second round, first round.
Did you go to Vegas?
Second round, no, I didn't go to Vegas.
So you just did the Mercury game then?
Right.
Oh, so that's an easy home game for you then?
Yeah, exactly. So I did the 2 games in that series, but I've got about close to half their schedule during the regular season, and you know they're playing people. It's just the whole league is so ass backwards in how it does its press. It's the worst. They don't get any exposure to the women. Man, the women are great. Everyone I've talked to, fantastic.
And they all want to do more.
Right, but you know, but they're all at their racks. You know, you used to be able to go in the locker room. You can't go in the locker room anymore. They give you a couple of people, maybe a press. It's like exposure, big bang. What are you doing? This is a league that needs the exposure.
The Slater situation is just like fire.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball with the culture.
Right.
Like almost 3.
Okay.
So we cost him.
Well, it really is going to take that to basically shut down all these things.
Yeah, pretty much have to like do the reverse Batman and walk over here.
Right, now do I believe that, well, they're going to be locked out anyway.
No.
As soon as October 31st, there's no movement in this, they're going to be locked out. Their contract period doesn't begin until January.
Right.
Yeah, get that tripod going.
Basically, if they hold the line and let them lock them out, I mean, really, they have to lose a year if they're not going to lose. You know, do I think that they should be paid like the men? No. But I mean, really, and I was writing a story about it during the playoffs. And, you know, this one gal, they had honor, they signed halfway through the season. You know, was returning, you know, veteran. And they paid her like $80,000, $75,000 for the rest of the year. You go looking at it going, this is like one of the only athletes I've ever seen without making more money than himself. You know, it's like, it's a travesty.
In the year of our Lord 2025, that should not be the case.
People should be making, okay, commensurate with the revenue that they're drawing, that's all. You know? Yeah, I guarantee the leagues was
But it was.
But now they don't do contract. You know, ticket sales are up all over the place.
And this group of players, and some of them were on the line when those losses were getting hurt.
Yeah.
You know, they're like reunited. Most of them were, well, this is my thing, and like, you know, if you were running your business like that 20 years ago, you know, after one last one, everybody's just like, call it a night.
Right? The reserve club worked out great for the owners. They all had to reflect all the players. Hey, you might as well keep doing, let's get it back.
Right. Yeah, you owe us for that thing. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
Right.
Yeah, I like
And think, and because of it, yes, good afternoon. How are you? Good. Yes. Please.
Bits
Not that one.
Oh, it was so bad.
I was right now. Appropriate bridging. Keep it on track. No, he doesn't.
Did you see it? Okay. Yeah. I think she's going to be the next one. Right? She hasn't had anything But I really think she is the next one. I told you know what's funny? She'll be there. Like for sure. He wasn't in Philly, but he was podcast for, yeah, so she wasn't in Philly. She should be here because they're from here.
Yeah, so I would guess that she's no, it's his dad's sister. She's a right. Yeah. So she's the youngest. I think she's the youngest. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's 2 boys.
All right, we'll get started with John, who has the first question. All right, we'll start with Jordan in the third row on your left, John.
Hey, John.
Hey.
Thinking about Trey over this past year, do you have any, what was your interaction with him during spring training? Was he even someone that was, I don't know if he was officially in big league camp, but what were your earliest interactions with Trey?
Yeah, officially was not in big league camp. I think it was one of those, hey, nice to meet you, kid. Welcome to the organization. Wasn't very extensive, I can tell you that. But a lot more extensive since he's been here. So he's been on quite the journey, quite the ascension of the levels, if you will. But getting to know him a little bit here in the past month or so. Confident guy, pretty adaptable, pretty aware of what's going on around him.
Go up front with David, then Ben.
Hey, John. Hey. Yesterday you said you were working through the decision on Bo, whether at second base, shortstop. What did you see from him yesterday that made the decision clear in your head?
Just kind of how he was moving around, and his comfort level with it. He was pretty open with me about just, hey, I can do this if need be, both with in terms of kind of taking a little bit of the physicality of the game off of him and looking at what he's doing at short too. So it's kind of a back and forth just to, play second at first. And him being open to it, with me was kind of all I needed to hear. I've seen him do it, albeit minor leagues, a few years ago or a number of years ago. But as long as he was moving around fine and, physically felt okay, you felt good about putting him there.
I'll stay there with Ben.
Just wondering, Ty France is on the roster. Loperfido came off. How do you envision using Ty France?
I think, it's a bat off the bench, probably, just looking at kind of the lefties in their bullpen and how we think going into the series our best way to help generate some runs, Ty has been working his tail off in between and I think looks pretty damn good hitting. I know you guys all haven't seen that, in real time, but even when we acquired Ty, he's a professional hitter, so it was kind of easy based on the number of lefties that they're going to have in their bullpen as well.
What was the point that he got kind of fully healthy from the oblique?
It was probably 2 weeks after it happened, to be honest, maybe 10 days, 2 weeks. He didn't miss much. He didn't. I think he took maybe like 4 or 5 days off of swinging from the initial injury. So he's been getting after it for a while.
Go to the second row on your left, John.
Hey, John.
Hey.
What'd you like about the 1-2 punch of Savage today and then Gausman tomorrow?
I think kind of, for one, how they've been pitching, you know what I mean? And how they can handle right and left-handed hitters. This is a really, really good lineup we're going against, especially at the top of the order, obviously. And it's stuff that can hopefully combat that, and suppress some damage. So you're looking at matchups and you're looking at how often a team has seen Trey, which in this case is not, which, we like, that part of it too. And, the rest and the recovery factor for everyone else. But it's a similar arsenal, but their pitches do very, very different things from different angles. So try to get out of the gate quickly with those two.
Third row, straight ahead.
Hi, John. Do you have any pregame superstitions, rituals that have kind of worked for you so far throughout the playoffs that you're going to take into the World Series now?
Yeah, absolutely. Starts with the route that I take into the field. I've been walking quite a bit, which is I drove a lot last year because of our record. I didn't want to be seen too much. So it's an easy walk for me. Plus my wife and kids have she keeps the car in the afternoon. So same route. Coffee in the morning, same time, and a few more that are a little bit more intricate at the field in terms of what color, what right, left you're putting on first, what watch I'm wearing, I got a lot. I'm out there.
Got a mic 2 rows behind.
Don't forget the candle.
Candle too, yeah.
As far as Bo goes, what goes into that calculation between preferring a compromised Bo at second base to a compromised George in the outfield?
I think just talking to both of them and seeing where they both are, perfect world. I think what George has done from the DH spot obviously speaks for itself. Both performance, comfort, all that kind of stuff. No one feels 100% right now. That's just where we are. And we always joke that no one really cares if you don't feel 100%. But I think just trying to play the game how we've always played it. If you want to take someone out at a certain point, who's that going to be, for what reason, and just trying to keep everyone in the best possible spot to have success.
And as far as Bo goes, he told us that he came to you and said, "Hey, I'll play second base." What was that conversation like?
Kind of just like that. I think once he felt like he was getting pretty close, especially swinging the bat, that's when he kind of said, "Hey, I want a part of this." He's seeing how Andres is playing it short too, and for him to do that says a lot about him. I think Bo is obviously been a big part of our team. He's been a big part of our year this year with the production and playing every day. But for him to kind of say that and kind of take a step back and while he's watching us play, just say, "Hey, I'm willing to do whatever it takes," even though he's been the shortstop here for 6 years, says a lot about him. So it made it that much easier, I think, and knowing that he was feeling that much better physically to kind of tackle anything. So conversation was pretty direct, and pretty honest. And Bo's been that way this entire year, more so than I've ever seen him, which is awesome.
Second row up front, Barry.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Great. Is there anything you take out of what you did against the Yankees this year, facing the Dodgers? I mean, they had a fairly formidable pitching staff that you beat the hell out of here in the ALDS, and now you're facing the Dodgers, who have been pretty formidable. Is there anything that's comparable in how you scout and what you do against the two teams?
A little bit, maybe. I feel like we've been facing good pitching all year for whatever reason, whether it's NL West coming in here, NL East, AL Central. I think that we do a really good job of preparing accordingly, So these guys, big name guys, big time stuff, similar to the Yankees, yeah, for sure. Similar to a lot of teams that we've faced. So to me and to the coaches, kind of every game is there's 7 one-game series, basically, is how we're looking at it. So every night is going to be a different way to go about it. I think that we have the roster and personnel flexibility to do that differently every night. Contact is kind of how we're built, putting the ball in play, making pitchers work. I feel like we did a really good job of that against the Yankees, top guys. And we're going to have to do it against these guys. I think what you saw against the Yankees was some extra slug, and if that happens, great. But I think that each one of these guys is going to be a different task every single night.
I don't have the microphone anymore, but just to follow up on the contact, how does your analytics translate to you guys doing contact when that's such the antithesis of what's going on between analytics and slugging around the rest of baseball?
I think we kind of looked at it, when you look at our everyday players, Bo, Vlad, George, Kirky, right? Guys that have been here for a while, they all can hit. They all hit for a relatively high average for the most part. And they all have really good bat-to-ball skills. So I think when you look at that, we kind of leaned into it a little bit. You look, I think we're hitting 296 in the postseason as a team, and I think the rest of the league is around 220, 218, something like that. When we hired Pop and Lou, we kind of said we wanted to be a very diversified offense and know which club to take out of your bag in any situation. So we knew we had guys that made contact. We surrounded those guys with guys that do make contact. The bottom of the order, the glue guys, the Ernies, the Miles, the Izzies, whoever it may be. So I think we can give pitching staffs different looks, and being able to score in multiple ways is big for us. Not waiting around for a 3-run homer. If that happens, great. That's kind of icing on the cake, if you will. But I think that we've kind of zigged where the industry has zagged a little bit to where putting the ball in play is pretty important.
Fourth row on your left, Tyler, then Jason.
John, what are some of your standout World Series memories as a kid watching watching this event, and how much do you remember about the 92-93 Blue Jays?
Yeah, that one stands out, for a guy growing up in the Northeast in New Jersey, and, Joe Carter against the Phils, that stands out to me for sure. Every World Series stands out to me, whether this is the first time I'm here doing this, but you're always watching, and it's just the mountaintop of your sport and your profession. So, I mean, going back to like the Rangers and the Cardinals, those crazy games, you feel like there's always some crazy ones, but so many jump into my mind, really. And they kind of all get jumbled up a little bit. But I think when you have walk-off hits, 2001, Arizona, New York, that stands out. Walk-off homer stands out. It seems like there's always a moment in any one of these games. It's pretty cool to be a part of.
Stay there with Jason.
Hey, John. Bo has been out for a month and a half. It seems difficult to then get dropped into a World Series game. What have you done to try to get him up to game speed at the when he's up to bat? And were there certain defensive boxes that you needed to see him check, like turning a double play from the other side of the field?
The offensive part, it's been kind of a slow drip, even since when the DS started. We had a lot of live pitchers back here throwing, and he's been hitting for a couple weeks off live pitching. So you feel good about that. Bo is, I think, one of the most talented hitters, actually like hitters in the game in terms of bat to ball, in terms of having a knack to drive guys in, hitting pitches that not everyone can hit. So that part you feel good about, and then talking to him with where his timing was, you go, okay, I think he's ready. Is it hard to do? Hell yeah. I mean, this is not easy. You know what I mean? I think if there's anyone who can do it, it's him. You can probably drag him off vacation this offseason and say, go get a hit. He's probably the guy to do it. So that was part of it. The defensive part, again, it's been a kind of a slow build up to this. And if he wasn't comfortable, we wouldn't put him on the roster, And I think just with who he is in the organization, I trust him. I trust his feedback that he's given me too. So there was a couple check marks, between base running and defense, and he hit them. So here we go.
Do two last ones, Jordan.
John, we talked to Bo about how he views you as a manager evolving since he played for you in the minor leagues. How do you self-evaluate the difference between Schneider's the manager today at the World Series and, New Hampshire, Vancouver, Lansing, and so on?
This is going to sound funny. I think I'm closer to Schneider's in the minor leagues right now than I've ever been. This job is hard. This job takes reps. It takes messing up. It takes having success to get to where you are. I went into this year kind of just saying to myself, I'm going to be the authentic version of myself, and I'm going to let it rip, And I think one of my biggest strengths is communicating with players and staff. And when you start this job, you're trying to please everybody, right? I mean, I always say that, everyone's answering to someone unless you're Edward Rogers. You know what I mean? So you're trying to appease a lot of people. And I think I got caught up in that a little bit. So right now I feel like Schneider's the dude that grew up with these guys riding the buses and just kind of being one of them. At the same time, understanding that there's a certain expectation that I bring to the field every day from these guys. They get it. But I feel like I've evolved a ton in just 3 years on this job.
We'll finish up with Mike.
That was sort of where I was going as well. When Bo talked to us, he said that he feels like this year you've shown greater trust in everybody across the board. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, and I've always felt that way, and I think that when you get so immersed in how hard this game can be and trying to do the right thing and trying to objectively match up, you lose sight of people sometimes, and I've been guilty of that. And at the end of the day, you know, the one sign I have in my office, you guys have seen it, is the man in the arena. You know, like, who do you want in the arena? You know, numbers are tools, and they're definitely helpful. But when you talk to the guys and you make time to kind of see where they're at mentally, I think it goes a long way. You know, and again, I've said it this entire year, this entire postseason, I trust every single guy on my team without a question. You know, and sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, but I trust every single one of them, and I think the more they feel that, the more free they can go out and play.
You said when you got hired that this was the job that you've been working your entire career for, and now that you sit here now, how much more difficult has it been than you anticipated? What, you know, you've talked about you now versus you then, but back then you thought you had a handle on it. And how does that guy look now?
That guy a couple years ago looks different than what I thought he would look like, if that makes sense. This is where, you know, one organization, 24 years, right? So when I say you want to manage, yeah, you want to manage a team you're working for in the minor leagues. To have it come to fruition has been amazing. What comes with it, honestly, I probably wasn't ready for, all in real time, whether it was interim, first year. So I think the guy right now is the guy that everyone has been waiting for, myself included, you know what I mean, to be honest with you. And I don't want that to sound, you know, selfish or conceited or anything. It's just me being real. So it's been fun. It's been horrible at times. I mean, I got gray beard, gray hair. I'm losing hair, but it's exactly where I want it to be. You know what I mean? And I think you have to just go through it. So happy that people have stuck with me, players, front office, staff, you guys. But just happy that, you know, you get a chance to kind of learn in real time.
All right, Shines, enjoy tonight. Best of luck.
Thank you, guys.
Next up will be 5:15 with the Blue Jays.
Very real, very yeah, like I approach it with one elbow at the same
Yeah. Talk to you together. Okay, I appreciate that.
He wasn't just no.
I'm impressed with I have no interest.
Hey, how are you? Right. There's an interest in another one.
He wants to shake hands to touch, and he's a good age.
Yeah, I think what this guy up here was do footage is signed for me.
I didn't. I was like, I'm not about.
Oh yeah. see his Angels Suzuki on the
Right. The loosest connections. You know, just like Forex. I've never seen like why did you think that?
You know, he's got a real coach who's sitting right out. What's he doing?
Just get it done.
Just get it done. He's the guy who probably needs to go. And if he does, he does. Who else are you going to sign? Who else is out there?
Right.
And you can't have another guy with a contract who has no experience. And you saw what happened in Seattle.
This person.
Wilson, who's a non-big. He blew up in the seventh game. He didn't know what he was doing.
And this team is close enough. They can do it. Yeah.
That like never fixed it. She was like,
They've got a lot of talent there, and they need somebody who's going to come in and manage it.
Right. And take it over the top.
Right. And do better when you.
Right. Right. Come full circle.
Right. You know, but you probably won't do it. I don't know. Coach wants to even work for him. And, you know, I know Coach wants to. But like I can't. But he doesn't want to go to the team, which is a report. And you know, I don't blame him for that.
Good job right now. I close with Gausman.
At this point, there's not a call to Gausman right here.
Right.
And there's still 6 jobs up.
Friedman.
I took a nap at 8 a.m.
All right. I think I am going to go out to the field for now. But I'll see you out there.
Okay. They text me to see Tony Clark out there.
Okay.
Sports Center and our cottage. Someone said he grew up well. It was very changed. It's a very actually. None of the
Sure, for sure. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Arizona. Yeah, it was Texas. It was Arizona. It was randomly.
Oh, then some guy.
So like as soon as they say that, they just you did it at 4:30, and I can just say after 6, I couldn't fall back to sleep. Watching TV. So, I was curious about it. Yeah, I missed breakfast. Aside from finishing and I'm watching this, so they're like, that's so area where I am, also doing the broadcast. That's why he sure. I said, way too much point. Just walked in off. That's how you know. There's a new route. So then, my coworker, so they're all waiting. I see they introduced defense is funny that so I mean that's like story that has to be for the Turkish. I gotta say, I don't feel like I'm basically in lock. I like
About 5 years ago, I would still do marketing and cursing. And I said, well,
All right, we'll get started with Kevin, who has the first question. We'll start in the second row on your left, Kevin.
Hey, Kev. Congratulations. How does it feel finally getting to pitch in a World Series game?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I've played over 12 years now to, every year you go into the season with the hope that you're one of the last two teams playing. That just hasn't been the reality for me, and I'm just really excited for this group and for myself. It's been a crazy ride, and now we're here, and we're excited to kind of show the world what the Blue Jays are all about.
Stay in the same row.
Kevin, a few years ago, I remember you were in the same room and you were talking about at the end of the 2022 season, you said, we have to learn how to win. And you guys are in the World Series. Just take me a bit through the journey of the past few years and what it's been like to stay in Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is the reason why I came here. Looking at the roster years ago, after the 21 season, I believe they had the best offense in baseball in 21, and that definitely excited me, being a pitcher. So, but really kind of looking at the names on the roster, knowing that, all those guys, I felt like we're going to be here for a while and really kind of had the foundation of being really good, and also having George being kind of the veteran leader, and also, just looking at, the pitchers that they already had, Barrios and, Manoa. And so, I mean, there was a lot to like, and that's ultimately why I came here. First couple years were rough and heartbreaking, to get swept, back-to-back years in the postseason and the wild card was tough. And last year was even tougher because I felt like we were a really good team, but just didn't play very well, and we all just kind of got punched in the face. And I felt like the organization did a really great job of looking internally while also kind of figuring out moves they needed to make. And I mean, hats off to them for doing everything that they have to get us to this point, and it's taken a lot of different people.
Third row on your left, Jordan.
Kevin, having thrown the splitter for as long as you have, what have you observed about that pitch becoming a lot more popular across the league, and what has it been like having a couple guys join your team this year that have relied on heavily in Hoffman and Savage?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I think back even to 21 when I signed with the Giants, and they kind of told me, we want you to be a two-pitch guy with your secondary pitch at the time being a pitch that 90% of the league didn't even throw. And I kind of thought they were crazy, to be honest, and didn't know kind of why they thought it would work. But really, then I was having a great spring, and then COVID happened, and really it was kind of the perfect scenario. It was like, I'm only going to make 10 starts. I feel pretty confident that I'll still be able to get a job, even if this goes south. And I mean, I was 3 starts in, and I was like, I'm never going to pitch any different than this, and had faced a lot of guys that I faced really early in my career, but I was a completely different pitcher now. And so it was really kind of fun for me to see that pitch just grow and get better and better the more I threw it. And now it's a pitch that, a lot of guys throw, and it's a good pitch when it's on. I think it's the best in baseball when it's on. So it's been really fun to see, and we're going to see a lot of them this series for sure.
Stay in the same spot with Chelsea.
Hey, Kevin, you kind of talked about it. You've been on really good teams that didn't get here for whatever reason.
what now that you're here, have you come to any conclusions about what it takes to have a good team that can also win when it needs to like this?
I mean, this is only my first World Series, so I really can't. I feel like I can't say that much about it. But you know, the two best teams that I've been on were the 21 Giants and this season. And when I think back to those two teams, a lot of things had to click. You know, especially the Giants. Like 21, I think everybody picked us to finish last in the NL West, and we won 108 games. So, you know, it just seemed like every kind of move that Kapler made that year worked, and there was a lot of times where he would make a move in the dugout, and everybody kind of wouldn't agree with it, but it somehow worked. And so, you know, it just kind of got to a point where everybody believed, and that's kind of the same feeling here is the belief in each other that, you know, no matter what the score is, no matter who we're playing, we feel like we have a chance.
Last row straight back, Mike.
Kev, is there a measure of revenge here for you? You talked about that 21 Giants team. The Dodgers knocked you out in the first round. Is it nice for you to have another shot at them?
Yeah, for sure. You know, but I would feel the same way if we were playing anybody. You know, I want to win. It doesn't matter who's over there. You know, I still think about the check swing on Wilmer Flores. I don't think it was a swing, but you know, that's kind of water under the bridge. But and Max was pitching in that game, so you know, it's kind of full circle. Now I've got to know Max on a personal level, on a professional level, and I mean, what an unbelievable career he has had. And if you've spent any time around him, like, he has a baseball mind. He doesn't stop. It's nonstop, and there's definitely times I have to kind of distance myself from him at times because he's just go, go, go all the time. But no, I think I would have the same feeling if I was playing anybody.
It sounds like that Wilmer is water under the bridge already. But for Bo, having him back, what does this mean after he's been out for 7 weeks? He's missed this whole run. What's it mean to you to have him back?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I think there was a group of us that when we made the postseason kind of went to Bo and said, you know, we're doing everything we can to see you play again this year. And so we're just really happy that he's able to be out there, and, you know, hats off to him. He's done so much. I mean, he's been here every single day so early, you know, multiple treatments throughout one day and really testing it. Had some bad days, had some great days. And so, you know, you really got to give all the credit in the world to him and the training staff for even making this a possibility. You know, I'm really excited for Bo. Obviously, he's been a huge part of this organization for a long time. So if he wasn't out there, I'd be heartbroken for him. So I'm really happy for him and really excited to see him go out and, you know, do what he's done. I mean, when he's healthy, when he's in the batter's box, he's one of the hardest guys in baseball to get out. You know, and I'm just excited to watch him go do his thing.
We'll stay in the same spot in the back.
Hi, when you signed it with the Jays back in 2021, what kind of idea you had to Jays in Toronto and Canada, and how you think this, what this series mean to Canada?
Yeah, I mean, you know, really signing here, I didn't necessarily understand one team for an entire country. You know, now I've been here for 4 years. I really understand how much they love us, how much they support us, how much they want us to succeed. And, you know, if you play well in Toronto, you know, as you've seen, all those guys from the 15, 16 teams coming back, throwing out the first pitch, like, those guys are legends, you know. So I think this city really loves their athletes, and especially if you give them something to be proud of. So, you know, we're ecstatic. The love that they give us, you know, we feel it out there, and they've turned this place into, you know, such a crazy environment, such a fun place to come to work every day. And really, you drive around the city right now, you know, it's electric. Everybody's talking about the Blue Jays, and they're fired up for us, and we're excited to go out and put on a good show for them.
From your left, Kev, Ron.
How many pitches into a start do you feel that a pitch is really working that night?
Jesus, if I knew that answer, I feel like it would be a lot easier to navigate. You know, as a pitcher, you work, you know, especially as a starter, we have the luxury where we get a lot of time before the game to kind of figure out what we have on that day. you know, for me, I only have 3 pitches, so, you know, they all got to be on, honestly. So, you know, I don't have the luxury of having a lot of different pitches that, hey, this pitch isn't it for today. I got to throw this pitch, you know. But I just, I guess it's kind of a feel thing. You know, you feel out the game. You know, I definitely have games where early in the game I know, like, I'm going to throw a lot of splits tonight. Like, the split is just coming out really well. For me, I get a blister on my middle finger, and so usually the bigger the blister early on in the game, usually the better the split's going to be.
Good third row on your left, Jordan.
Kevin, do you remember interacting with Trey at all in the spring training? I know he wasn't in big league camp, but did you share any moments with him in spring? And what was your reaction when you kind of were following his journey and found out he was going to be helping the big league team?
Well, I didn't meet him until he showed up in Tampa. You know, I know we were in the same building, but yeah, I never saw him throw. You know, I'd seen videos of him throwing. And what a unique like delivery. That's the first thing you kind of notice right off the bat is he looks a little different than most guys. But yeah, I mean, really kind of the first time I watched him throw was his bullpen in Tampa, getting ready for his first major league start. And like I said, it was kind of the same thing. You're watching and it's just like, man, that's a little different. You know, and then if you know anything about metrics and looking at, you know, an iPad, you know that his stuff is a lot different than most guys. And I mean, his fastball is elite. His slider is a huge difference maker. It's really hard, you know. And I think the biggest thing with his slider is, you know, his bad slider is a really good split. So I think people don't realize that. And I think it's almost like he's throwing 2 different splits. One's at 88 to 90, and one's kind of 83 to 86, you know. And so it's kind of pick your poison. And then he's got a really good elite fastball. I mean, he's throwing 22-inch vert with, you know, 2-3 horizontal, like from straight over the top. So I think it's just a different look, you know, and I'm really excited to watch him do his thing tonight.
We'll finish up with Joe in the last row on your left.
Kev, was it a no-brainer for you and for the club to back you off and allow Trey, give you the extra rest and have Trey go game 1? What was that process like?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was a slam dunk, but, you know, I'm better the more days you give me. So, you know, I think that had something to do with it. But I think also it's about kind of keeping him, you know, locked in, not trying to mess with his routine too much. You know, this does kind of line him up for this day, you know, but, yeah, I think maybe if I would have thrown maybe less pitches, and maybe not such a high leverage position game 7, then maybe it would have been a different conversation. But, you know, I knew kind of that maybe pitching game 7 was not, I wasn't going to be ready for game 1. But in my mind, I was completely fine with that because you have to get here first, you know, and we have a lot of great pitchers. So I feel pretty confident with any of the 4 or 5 guys to start game 1.
Kevin, enjoyed the night. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Dave Roberts should be down in a couple minutes.
I've kind of quit chasing them because travel. It's way higher than they are on last house. I got decent.com.
Thank you.
It was just like,
That's not mine.
Go way back.
Oh yeah. Okay, Jordan, now for so you got making chefs. One, she used to work at the .com.
I was afraid that we got still at the end of the Chicago.
They're like 4 ounces per, so it's like
They basically got rid of that program because it's costing a lot.
Yeah. Do you like eligible? Because I don't think
yeah.
I like clear drinking.
That's great. No, I
Right, right.
So I can be out front. And you got here, you got in front of the camera.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, he's already leaving, so I'm going to wait for him to leave. I've got to wait until the close to
Yeah, sure did. All the characters are in place.
You all make it to the World Series. You enjoy the special time with your family and friends.
Yeah, that's it's just like a
Jarvis used me last year. Yes. There's a nice hotel.
Walking this now.
So yeah, well, let me. Yeah, and I didn't realize that when I got here last night.
I don't even
Freddie's hand is on
right, we'll get started with Doc, and we'll start with Kirsten up front.
Dave, yesterday and honestly the last few weeks with talking to Blake Snell, he's talked about just how much information he likes to take in before each start. What have you learned from him in his pitching style, as information he likes to take in as he prepares for his outing that kind of maybe stands out to you about him that maybe you didn't know before managing him?
I think I've learned that he does a good job with his homework. He has his own process. Very well prepared, but takes in information from Mark and the catchers, but really is very well prepared, and he understands how much he needs versus being overloaded.
Across the aisle, right up front.
Hi, Dave. With all the reasons that your team has for wanting to win another World Series, do you think the Alex Vesia situation is another reason this team is going to play for him right now?
It's certainly on our hearts, and we miss him, and we'll be thinking about him. And certainly, he's a part of this, and it's just even more motivation. Yes.
And right in the next row.
Hey, Dave. During the celebration after winning last year's World Series, you said, let's get ready to run this thing back. Now this is that opportunity, that first day where you're trying to run it back. Describe the pressure you feel right now.
None whatsoever. I think that, right now, our only focus is winning tonight. And I mean that wholeheartedly. That's the only thing that we care about right now. And so it's a big game. It's going to be a fun crowd. Our guys are prepared. And that's something I said certainly close to a year ago, and we're in a position to do that. But, we got to win 4 games. So right now, let's take care of business, and then we'll see where it all falls out.
Fourth row on your left, Doc. Sonia.
Dave, just wanted to clarify, Vesia being off the roster, is he out for the World Series at this point?
You know what? I think, Sonia, that's probably the most likely unless something unforeseen happens, that's kind of what we're anticipating.
And, obviously the human side of this is kind of bigger than the baseball side, but he's been used in so many big situations for you. How do you kind of replace that with your current bullpen?
Yeah, we have a lot of viable options, and I don't know what situation will present itself, but I trust all the guys. I really do, and guys are going to have to step up, but Alex is certainly going to be missed.
We'll stay over there with Jack.
Just one more to clarify on that. Did you guys consider putting him on the family medical leave list at all, or was it just he wasn't going to be able to come back even if you did do that?
I think we exhausted a couple of different options, but just considering, obviously what he's going through and baseball is certainly on the back burner. So I just think that's kind of the right process. I think that we as an organization was probably the best way to handle it. And to be quite honest, I don't know a lot of what went into it.
And then this Blue Jays lineup has the lowest whiff rate in the postseason. Your rotation has the highest. How do you see that dynamic playing out, and does it alter what your pitchers kind of need to do to keep having the success they've had this month?
Doesn't alter. They're aggressive early. Then with 2 strikes, they find a way to put the ball in play. We've got to make quality pitches early in the count. That's kind of what it boils down to.
Kirsten?
Just with going with Will Klein, putting Edgardo Enriquez back on the roster, what have you been seeing from Will, whether during the stay hot time, in between series? What have you been seeing from him? And then what do you like about Edgardo in this matchup?
Well, I like Will because it's a plus fastball. It's a good curveball, good slider, and it's something that these guys haven't seen. And then Edgardo, it's velocity, it's a slider, it's a sinker. There's a cut fastball in there, and so just something to continue to try to keep a couple of those right-hand hitters at bay.
Go to the fourth row on your left, Fabian.
Yeah, Dave, sort of following up on that. I mean, Vlad is such a big presence in that lineup. How much pressure does this put on you guys finding some more success out of your right-handed relievers?
It's certainly one of the best hitters in the game, swinging a hot bat. I think what it comes down to is trying to get those guys out in front of him. If Vlad comes up with guys in scoring position, guys on base, then it certainly makes a job for any pitcher tough. So you just got to really lock in on those first couple guys and try to keep guys off base when he comes up to bat.
And then just as a baseball observer, when did Trey Savage first pop up on your radar, and how remarkable is it for a guy like that, for that few big league starts to be starting game one of a World Series?
Yeah, I think it was against the Yankees. Just seeing the stuff, the split, kind of learning about it. He's got a good way about him, a confidence, and that's the first I heard of him.
The two last ones, Jake on your left.
No Tanner Scott on the roster. Was that a medical-related decision or performance-related?
More medical. The medical has, not allowed for him to have the ramp up. And as he's thrown a couple bullpens, it just wasn't quite there. And so I think that for us, the cost of potential, injury, and betting on the upside of how quick this thing came about, I think it's just ultimately bad timing, unfortunately.
All right, Dave, thanks so much. Enjoy the night.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Andrew's on his way. All right, Andrew, thanks for making the time. Who is the first question? We'll start with Kirsten up front to your left.
Andrew, I know our thoughts are with Alex Vesey and his family at the moment. When you look at, just keeping it to baseball, when you look at this bullpen, he obviously has been a very key high leverage arm for this group. Without him, how do you see things, someone either stepping in that role, and what do you like about just Will Klein being added, as well as Edgardo being back with the group in the bullpen?
Yeah, we feel really good about our relievers in terms of the righty, lefty, the different looks, the stuff that we'll bring out. Obviously, it comes down to execution, and those guys feeling confident to go in the lanes that Doc, Mark, Danny kind of figure out, and for them to just trust to flood the zone. If we're able to do that, I think they will be really successful. And so it comes down to execution, but feel good about the group. Edgardo and Will, for us, just their pitch mix, how it matched up against their hitters, felt like gave us more margin for error in different ways and different ways to match up that we felt like fit our group really well.
One row behind.
Hey, Andrew. Given the fact that you had the luxury, I guess it is, to slow play Snell while he was on the injured list, how much is having that extra time and being able to do things while he was on the IL translate to what he's doing in the postseason now?
Yeah, I mean, a lot's been made about us slow playing. I don't know how much it was slow playing versus there's a lot of unknowns about injuries. Like, we're not going to sit here and pretend we know what exactly causes them. And the build-up to get back, for us, it's about getting back to stay back. And so it's imperfect, and it's much more art than science. And so we just err a little bit more on the side of caution to give ourselves a better chance of when they come back to stay back. And the work that he put in along the way obviously was great. But I think more than anything, he loves these moments. He talked about it in the off season. He talked about it in spring training. He's talked about it all year. He loves these moments. And so whether we took a little extra time, whether he missed any time, I think him being dialed right now is the least surprising thing to us.
And the fact that you had him at Tampa Bay. The prior knowledge you had of him, how much confidence did that give you that in signing him, that, okay, this is going to be our guy in October?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it gets at how long I've been doing this, because knowing him as an 18-year-old and then watching that maturation through the minor leagues to the big leagues, the success he had winning a Cy, the World Series in 20, getting traded to San Diego, and whenever we'd play them, we'd always spend some time together and catch up. And just watching that maturation year over year over year in terms of how he saw the game, the desire to compete, the desire to win, and just each year I'd walk away from those interactions like, wow, this is getting way more advanced and really, really impressive. And then last offseason, going into the offseason, he was, our number one priority. And sitting down with him and getting even more insight into the way that his mind works, just how badly he wants to be a part of winning World Series, and just strengthened our belief in what a great fit he was even more.
2 rows directly behind the last, Pete.
Andrew, you guys do everything you can to try to win a World Series, and people are saying, you're ruining baseball. What do you make of people saying that? Because all you're trying to do is win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it is all about our incredible fans and us giving back. What they bring night in and night out, the passion that they show for the Dodgers now. This is my 11th season, and even on the road, the number of Dodger fans that are there and just the love that they have for this team. Our job is to pour ourselves back into it and try to, give them a team that can compete for championships and that they can be proud of. And for us, that's our focus. Everything for us is about pouring back into our fans and that partnership that we have with them. So, that's our focus. So anything else that comes from it, and obviously I've heard a lot of it, it's just not front of mind for us, because everything is around how do we put ourselves in the best position to win now and also to win in the future.
Just across the aisle, Tyler.
Andrew, you've had seasons where you guys absolutely dominated the regular season and came up short in October. And last year you won it all, and this year you're dominating again. Was there a sort of philosophical shift at all to try to build a team that can win and be at peak strength now versus maybe like May 15th or something?
No, I mean, I think you always want to be peaking and playing your best baseball in October. I don't know that we have a formula or a thought of really how to do that. That is definitely the goal of what you want. Last year we had success in October in a very different way. So I think every team kind of takes on its own identity. I think there are a lot of different ways to win a World Series. Clearly, you have to be really talented. You also have to have some good fortune. And for us, it's putting ourselves in the best position we can to have good fortune kind of fall with a lot of different, outs and different ways that we can go to try to create that. So you always want to be playing well in October. I don't know that we have this like, hey, let's just take our foot off in the regular season and then step on it. I know it's what it looks like, but it wasn't anything conscious.
Up front on your right, Gabe.
You guys, just by getting here, have gotten a lot closer than any team that's tried to repeat in the last quarter century. What have you learned about that? Can you be deliberate about the way you go about trying to repeat, especially with regard to how much you run it back versus trying to integrate new pieces into the mix so it doesn't get stale?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly hard, as we can all attest to by watching over the last 25 years with the number of kind of unique champions each year and no one repeating. But, for us, when we won last year, our focus and meetings were all about, okay, how do we win in 2025? And there were two big risk factors that we had kind of seen looking back. One is complacency. You've reached the top of the mountain, you're less hungry. I didn't worry about that with our group. And the second is usually to win 11 or 13 games in October, you have to really step on your pitching to do it. And it's a longer season and you come back faster. We mixed our, we just didn't have that starting pitching in the depth that we do right now last year. So we weren't going to encounter that. And so for us, it was about how do we add some guys that are really hungry to our group that will be really hungry to do everything they can to win that final game of the season. And again, it ties back to Blake and just how much he wants this as well.
Standing in the back left, Andrew Shy.
Hey, Andrew. I'm wondering, as you've watched the Blue Jays operate in recent years in different facets of market, baseball ops, player development, things of that nature, is there anything that they do that's stuck out to you that you feel is a part of their success?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark and Ross have done a tremendous job here. And I think, going back for us, one big thing, probably our largest kind of focal point and biggest goal was to try to create a destination spot where our own players didn't want to leave and where players from other teams wanted to come. And I think invariably we find ourselves going up against the Blue Jays a lot in different ways, and they have created that as well. I think, they've done a really good job with their facilities, the way they communicate, how they help get the most out of players. I think they've done a tremendous job. And so for them to be here is not surprising at all to me.
Go to Jack over there.
One quick one on Alex, not putting him on the family list. Is that just because you didn't anticipate he'd be available to pitch in the series?
Yeah, I mean, we just didn't want to have any potential for any kind of pressure. This is so much bigger than baseball, and for us it was doing whatever small part we could to just 100% be supportive.
And then only 5 franchises have won 3 titles in a 6-year period. If you guys win this year, do you think about what it would mean for just the legacy of what you guys have built here? Have you even thought about that at all? Is that...
No. I mean, I think one of our overarching goals is to try to, whenever the time comes and we get fired, and is that people look back on this period as a golden age of Dodger baseball, which is a high bar. What exactly it means, how it slots, life's too busy. That'll be more when we're done, but that's our goal, is for people to look back on this time period and say that was the golden era of Dodger baseball.
Fourth row in your far right, Andrew.
Andrew, you mentioned the word identity. What would you say the identity of this team is?
I think just a relentless desire to compete and win. Watching the work that they do every single day on the field, underneath, the conversations that are had, it's guys challenging each other to do everything they can to go out and win a baseball game that day. And watching the work, the focus, the intent, with how much they all care for one another, has been really special to watch.
Bill in the third row, straight ahead.
Yeah, Andrew, Dave yesterday mentioned with the starting pitching, the plan is always to have them at their best on October 1st. How does that plan change when you lose Snell for 4 months, Glasnow for 2.5, and you're kind of piecing together a rotation for a while there?
How does it change?
The plan, how do you adjust?
Well, I mean, our biggest thing is obviously looking back, we've had years where we've had a lot of injuries. And in some of those instances, it's season ending, it's into the next season. The injuries, for the most part, that we faced this year were injuries that we could forecast that guys were coming back. And so now it was okay. With each individual guy, it was, A, we have the depth to try to withstand this right now, but with each individual player returning, was doing the best we could to lay out the most thoughtful progression rehab plan to get them back, to stay back, but also to be hitting their stride and the stuff and execution in place going into October.
Jake in the third row on your left, Andrew.
You mentioned earlier Blake being your guys' number one priority this past offseason. Obviously the offseason prior to that, he had a lot of trouble on the open market securing the deal that he was looking for. Did something change about him fundamentally that made him a more attractive pitcher in your eyes between the offseason heading into 23 or heading into 24 and heading into 25, the year he was with the Giants?
No, I mean, I think what he did with the Giants, especially in the second half, he's always a guy that, and we talked about this at the initial press conference, where people think of him looking back as not having great command. I think it is more that he is just really hard to hit. And so he would have longer, prolonged at-bats, foul balls. But something clicked for him that year in San Francisco where just flooding the zone and getting ahead and just the radical difference that created, because then he's able to eat 18 outs, 21 outs, and just go deeper into a game. It's hard to pay a lot for a guy that will go 5 innings. And so I think that showed his ability, and really not ability because we believed it was there, but mindset and that growth that came with it. But there's also a timing element. There's some off seasons where a guy may fit us really well and he happens to be available. Other times where it's not as good of a fit in that moment. So there's a lot of moment and time stuff as well. But I will say that year with the Giants, especially that second half, showed even more growth with what he was doing on the mound.
Get to a few last ones. Ron up front.
Do you and your staff, from observing, sense that Snell, Glasnow, Sasaki are any sharper or fresher just because of how many fewer competitive innings they had all year?
I don't know how to answer it. I think they're all in a really good spot right now. I mean, Yama went wire to wire, and he looks really good as well. I don't know how to answer that, but feel very fortunate that they're as dialed in as they are. And feel good about the group as a whole.
Or maybe on the flip side, you've been in situations where you got to October and you've had a lot of guys who went 32 starts, 190 innings, and you could sense they're a little worn down but pushing through.
Not as much. I mean, it's been more injury related that we've gotten there and them not been there. I think the guys that we've had that have gone wire to wire, they've been in a good spot, similar to Yama. It's so much, timing and where guys are, and obviously in August or September, if a guy's wearing down, the number one leading cause of injury is fatigue. So if guys are getting fatigued, usually they will then take a break and build back up the strength, but we haven't really seen that as much.
Do 2 last ones. Russ and then Barry. Russ.
Hey, Andrew, you talked about making yourself a desirable destination when it comes to player acquisition. For you, I know the public looks at the financial aspect, but is there something that stood out that is very important to you when it comes to acquiring players, or is it just putting a winning product on the field?
No, I mean, I think there's a lot that goes into it. I think being known as a really good player development organization, players ask those questions. When we're meeting with players in the off season, they want to know that you can help maximize their ability and that you're getting the most out of their teammates, because when you can do that and do it well, you tend to win more games. And I think guys' desire to win, that's a really important factor. I think how you treat families, and it's a challenging life with the amount of travel and usually being away from your home city, and it's a challenge for the families. And so doing everything we can on our end to make that as comfortable as they possibly can. So when a guy's a free agent and is thinking about leaving, we like the wife also saying, hey, actually, we should stay. It's so much easier. So I think communication, being honest, having a really strong player development group in place at the major league level, and how you treat families and treat the players, I think matters a lot in that.
Do 2 last quick ones. Barry, then Tyler. Barry, go ahead.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Barry.
So just to that point, Stan told us yesterday that
Sasaki wanted Japanese toilets. You guys gave him Japanese toilets. The Otani wanted an extra batting cage. You gave him an extra batting cage. So that just sort of like exemplifies what you were just talking about. My question is about Doc. I mean, here's a guy now who's got the highest winning percentage practically in Major League history for a guy who's managed as long as he has, 10 years. And he's like 369 games over 500. How well has he developed and fit into your system of how you basically want a manager to perform within your baseball operations department?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's our system, not my system.
Yeah, okay.
I can't say enough about Doc. Just the consistency, the relentless optimism, his ability to put guys in great spots to succeed, and his ability to communicate around that, because it's not always in ways that players want or believe is right. And his ability to lead our group has been exceptional over these 10 years. And he has been a significant part, obviously, of our success looking back. Feel very fortunate that he'll be a significant part of our success going forward. And just what he has meant to this group and how he's helped lead through a lot of the ups and downs is no small part in why we're sitting here.
Do you think he's the perfect example of the way the manager has to operate in the baseball operation system these days?
I don't know. I think he's great. I don't know. I don't spend much time laying out the other 29 and comparing. I know that we are really happy with the partnership we have, and feel great that he's on our side.
I'll finish up with Tyler, fourth row.
Yeah, Andrew, just sort of to play off Ron's question earlier, when you signed Snell and having Glasnow here and Sasaki, did you expect that they would be able to go wire to wire, or did you figure that given their histories and youth that you may need to back them off a little bit to get them strong here?
Yeah, I guess we weren't sure, but it wasn't something where we were going to be really surprised. I think the whole point of depth is that injuries happen. And sometimes they happen in clusters. Ideally, they happen where they're more spaced out. And the last thing that we want to do is say, oh, well, we won 81 games this year because we just didn't have depth. We had injuries, and it was bad luck. And so it's trying to be as prepared as we can, not knowing exactly what's going to happen or when, but to have that depth to help backfill and keep our heads above water during periods where it's more clustered. And we went through some periods this year where it was very clustered, the injuries. So I wouldn't say we knew it for certain, but we know it's a possibility, and just trying to be as prepared as we can be.
All right, Andrew, congrats on the pennant, and good luck in the series.
Thank you, guys.
For the Dodgers, Yoshinobu Yamamoto will be here in about 10 minutes, so he'll be closer to 6:15 rather than 6:30. If you only knew where that chair has been. All right, Yoshi, Hiro, thank you guys for being here. Who has the first question for Yoshi? Who are we starting with? Yoshi's a busy guy. Come on. All right, we'll start with Jack on your left, guys.
Yoshi, what's your impression of the Blue Jays lineup and what makes them so difficult to navigate?
ブルージェイズの打線、に対する印象と、どこが難しい部分になってくると思いますか？
まだ細かいところまではチェックできてないんですけど、試合を、見てた感じ、つながりもすごくありますし、いいところでホームランが出てる印象が、あったので、ピッチングの基本的なところですけど、ランナーためないだったり、そういったところを大事にやっていけたらなと思ってます。
First off, because the impression of them for me is that they can keep the lineup moving, and then they can hit the home run when it's needed. So I'm thinking, because the key for me is just that to keep the fundamental pitching, and then not to carrying not much runners.
I'll stay in the same row with Fabian.
Yeah, the Blue Jays don't strike out a whole lot. Do you have to change how you attack them any differently than you would a normal lineup, just knowing that they don't tend to strike out?
ブルージェイズの打線っていうのはその三振が少ないということなんですけども、それだからといってその山本さんのそのゲームに対するアプローチを変えていかないといけないっていうふうはありますか？
そこはあまり意識して、投球するところではないので、しっかりストライクゾーンで、どんどん投げていくっていうのは、いつも通り心がけているので、とにかくいつも通りのピッチングができたらいいなと思ってます。
It's not necessary for me to focus on that part. Just like I keep my job simple and then just being aggressive and then pound a strike zone.
Stay in the same row with Sonia.
Yoshinobu, yesterday Blake Snell talked about how he has kind of grown as a pitcher by adapting his game plan to like how hitters are responding to what he's throwing. Is that something that the two of you have talked about and discussed?
昨日スネルのインタビューの時にその相手のバッターのその I'm sorry, can you repeat the first part?
Sure. Snell has talked about how he has kind of grown as a pitcher by adjusting his game plan in game to like how hitters are responding to what he's throwing.
その相手のゲームの中での相手のその反応とかそういうところを勉強してそのゲームプランを作っていくっていうところなんですけども、山本さんもそういうところなんか学んだりとか考えたり実際されてますか？
ゲームプラン、そうですね、相手のこう反応を見たり、して変えていくっていうのは基本なので、スネルからも学びますし、いろんな人からそこは学んできました。
I learned kind of similar things from because not only Snell but a lot of different pitchers, and then I think for me it's kind of like a normal, like a common things for me to do, because check that how because hitters respond to my pitches.
Do you feel that the rotation, just the Dodgers rotation right now, you all make each other better, and is part of it that you can have these kinds of discussions together?
そのローテーション、ドジャースのローテーションのピッチャー同士でそういう話っていうのはしますか？
みんなでまとまってとかではないですけど、個人個人ではしますし、試合終わったらどうだったとか、そういったコミュニケーションはあると思います。
We do not gather, all together at the same time, but because individually we talk about it.
A couple others for Yoshinobu? Yes, go straight back, guys.
高いレベルでレギュラーシーズンをローテーション守って投げてきてポストシーズンでも素晴らしい投球をされているんですけれども、例えば去年と今年で睡眠だったり食生活だったりとかで気をつけたりしていることってありますか？高いパフォーマンスでやれている理由を教えてください。
The question is, Yoshinobu has been maintaining performance at the really high level, and then how he's doing it, like his dietary practice or something like that.
まあ去年こっちに来たので、まあそこと比べると多少慣れたとか、まあそういったところはあるかもしれないですけど、まあ気をつけてるところだったり、大切にしてるところはもう何年も変わらないですし、はい、同じことを繰り返してます。
Compared to last year, because I'm so I have gotten myself acclimated to that my daily American lifestyle, and then because I've been doing that, so not much difference.
Take a couple last ones. Tets on your left, Yoshi.
昨日試合が近づくにつれて緊張感も増してくるかもしれないってこともおっしゃってたんですけど、今の率直な心境、レギュラーシーズンの前日ともしくは、これまでのプレーオフ、優勝決定シリーズとはまた違うのかとか、そういうところを教えてください。
The question is, yesterday you said you might get nervous as a game gets close, and then how actually do you feel at this point?
まあ多少、まあ現時点でも違いはあると思いますけど、まあシーズン中の試合も、まあこういった大事な一戦と同じような気持ちで毎週挑むっていうのは自分の中ですごく大切にしているので、まあそういった意味でそんなに大きく、違いはないかなと思いますし、しっかり、落ち着いて準備できている感じが、するので、まあこれが明日の試合の入りにうまくつながればいいなと思います。
I just take every game, whether if it's a regular season game or like a postseason World Series game, I just take it as similar as possible. And then right now, because I think I'm in a pretty good position. I'm in mentally good position.
Two last questions. Taro on your left, guys.
ドジャースにとっては2年連続、そしてチームメイトのカーショー投手にとっては最後のワールドシリーズということになります。ピッチャー、投手陣の先発、中継ぎ、さらにはチーム全体での雰囲気というのはいかがでしょうか。
So for the Dodgers, back-to-back World Series game, and for Clayton Kershaw, this will be the last World Series for him. And then how's the chemistry within the team?
まあチーム全体すごく落ち着いて、しっかり準備しているなという、ような雰囲気を、感じます。でまあカーショーのことはチームメイト全員尊敬してますし、まあカーショーの素晴らしいこのキャリアを締めくくるのはワールドチャンピオンが一番ふさわしいなと、一番似合うなと思うので、まあ、とにかく春からワールドチャンピオンを目指してみんなでやってきたので、まあ思いを一つにやっていきたいと思います。
As a team, I think because we're preparing pretty well, and because with a composure and then good energy, good vibe, and then as a team, because this is a goal, because what we've been striving to get to, and then since it's spring training, and then for Kershaw, we'd like to get this win and then let him have the best way out.
One last question for Yoshi, if there's one. All right, Yoshi, congrats on another NL pennant and good luck. All right, that concludes the pregame for today.